I am proud as I leave and enter the next part of what is a dark and hard journey that I can take with me the sense of accomplishment and the real belief that the things that I did as governor and the things I did as congressman have actually helped real, ordinary people.
Hi, this is Sid Yiddish and
Jason Page.
And you're tuned into
Sublime, where we bring up questions that the media ignores.
Yeah. So, topic of discussion today is
Rod Blagojevich.
The one thing I had a lot of was a desire in my heart to help average, ordinary people.
So what is different about Rod Blagojevich and all the other politicians? Did he hit a nerve?
I think what Blagojevich did was probably fight against the system, and anytime you fight against the system, meaning you don't back the right political warhorse, you get nailed.
I understand that he got nailed right after, like a day after, he said Illinois was going to pull out of Bank of America.
We have contacted all of our agencies across state government, and as of now, every agency has been ordered to suspend doing any business with the Bank of America. The Bank of America received $25 billion in taxpayer money as part of the financial bailout. This is exactly and precisely the kind of thing that isn't right when, on the one hand, powerful special interests get the help of taxpayer money to bail them out, the banks, and yet the purpose of that money was supposed to be to provide a line of credit to businesses like this, to keep workers working and keep people employed. And yet the Bank of America has yet to step up and say that they're going to be helpful to this company and keep these workers working.
Yeah, he got arrested at 6 a.m. at his home on December 9th, 2009. How many politicians, celebrities, people actually say, "I'm sorry," but they don't actually mean it? Do you think Rod means it?
I think for like the better outcome and safety for him and his family is more important than being what he feels in his heart at this point.
Just for the viewers out there, he had a book signing, I believe, at Columbia College here in Chicago, and there was an activist group. I don't remember the specific group, and he spoke about it extensively.
Do you think that by cutting ties with Bank of America has led to your arrest? Because I mean, it happened like the day before, and that was something that I've looked into it too, and I thought because it was the day after you got arrested. Do you think?
We have a theory, it's hard to prove, but it's a strange thing.
Because you cut ties with the bankers. I mean, and we all know what happened to President JFK after he resisted the Federal Reserve. And I think honestly that after you resisted the Federal Reserve and Bank of America, the next day you're arrested. That just doesn't happen.
No. Look, we ask ourselves that, and we're trying to figure out whether you can find that connection, because it sure is a peculiar coincidence.
He still then, as in now, maintains his innocence and knew he was set up.
When there's a huge campaign among media to basically discredit something, and understanding that a lot of mainstream media today is yellow journalism, there's hidden motives, and that's a red flag. Kind of related to that aspect is that there's very little, if any, investigative journalism, because it's not to the benefit of the corporate media. This huge media blitz about his hair going gray and the fact that he can't die in prison, it just doesn't fit the type of level of newsworthiness than, say, other aspects of things that the media doesn't question.
They miss him. They absolutely miss him. They keep wanting to, pull more juice, out of the carrot until there's nothing to be had. And the public constantly eats it up. It's a vicious appetite for the sickness of our society. I do listen to both sides of radio, though, of course. I don't just listen to progressives. I listen to the conservatives because it's pretty important to hear what the other side is saying.
Another concern that was brought to my attention is that not only were they trying to slander Rod, but also his wife, and I don't know if you picked up on that at all.
I saw that in comments that people were making, just these rude comments about her and what's going to happen to her after, her husband went to prison and is in prison. I mean, it's a vicious cycle. Rod was fairly honest.
Media does like to take things out of context, and quite likely those tapes were taken out of context. And Rod's position is that when those tapes are released, they would prove his innocence.
My question to that question, though, is when is there a right time to release them? When is the wrong time?
Releasing the tapes can also be there could be a dangerous aspect to doing that, depending on the political climate.
Look at the political climate now. Look at it. It's as dangerous as it's ever be.
The biggest thing right now is relating to releasing the tapes, kind of more on a microcosmic level, that it would be safe to release those tapes once that cabal and any associations with it are no longer a threat. There's also the other aspect, which is the jury, which largely is persuaded by the news media.
You know as well as I do, they're not supposed to be swayed by the media. Anytime they do that, that's mistrial.
This whole time during these court cases, the media was very cruel in its methods to slander the guy and his family.
Of course. Yeah, I know.
And it's hard for anybody in any jury to not be exposed to that, one way or another. Even if they don't watch TV, they're going to hear it among their associates and the people they work with.
I'm Sid Yiddish.
I'm Jason Page. This is our first episode of Sublime.
They did right by those workers. At least that worked out. Because I suspended business with $2 billion a year. They kept when I would stop it. But it was almost like it felt like, oh, you better stop this guy before other governors start doing this. And I'm all for Obama, but Obama's not meeting these bankers. They just gave them all their money, and he says, please give the money, lend the money to small businesses. I didn't say please, I just said, hey, you better do it, and we ain't doing business with you. And then they arrested me.
Well, we thank you for standing up to those guys.
Thank you. And the weekend before, the so-called crime spree, these liars, right? It's all Bank of America, and it's in my book, if you guys have a chance to read it. But in the book, I picked a senator who I hate. But it was part of a deal to get jobs and health care and no taxes on people. I was going to hold my nose and make Madigan's daughter the senator. And Rahm Emanuel was cutting the deal. And our only issue with Rahm was, he was saying, you got to take him on faith. And I said, fuck him, I don't believe what that guy says. Pass it now, and I'll hold my nose and make him a senator.
Wow.
Okay? And I hate him.
Yeah.
This whole thing's upside down.
It is.
And the tapes prove it.